Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Hey HR. We're gonna talk all about the Human Resources Assistant and the Human Resources Coordinator. Now, I just want you to know that these are both very entry-level roles, and I won't say very, but they're both entry-level roles for the Human Resources Department. And so it's almost a toss-up on which one you want to go for. I would definitely tell you that it is a good comparison if you're starting your human resources career and you want to know what direction to go into, or if you're building your human resources department and you want to know which one is going to be the best fit. So if you want to know the differences and similarities between the human resources assistant and the human resources coordinator, then you definitely want to keep on watching. Now, the Human Resources Assistant is primarily being led, or their duties are being led by a certain person or a particular function within the Human Resources Department. So each day, they don't necessarily have a regular consistent plan. Every day, each day is kind of guided by what's needed or what that person needs. So they can be a Human Resources Assistant for the entire department, a certain function of the Human Resources Department, a leader in the Human Resources Department. Primarily, they're assigned to a person or a leader or a part of Human Resources, and then they're directed in their task on a day-to-day basis. Now, that's going to be different from your Human Resources Coordinator, where they are kind of ahead of the game. They know their job before that day because they're coordinating different tasks, they're coordinating different projects, they're coordinating different efforts, and they're coordinating different things that are necessary for the Human Resources Department. So your Human Resources Coordinator is going to be that person who is going to be seeing a lot during benefits, open enrollment time, because they're coordinating the minor things like, how do I set this up? Did I get all of these documents printed? Do I have enough pamphlets for the entire organization? Was this email already sent out to everyone? Did I take a list of who all is attending whatever event? That type of thing. So they're assigned to different projects within the Human Resources Department, and their tasks are pretty repetitive. So they know that based on that project, that aspect of the department that they're working on, that's primarily what their focus is. Now, their jobs may change a bit here and there, but they don't necessarily have to wait on what that particular thing is doing for that day, like the Human Resources Assistant. So your Human Resources Assistant primarily works in your small to mid-sized organizations, because typically when you get to a larger organization, instead of having like a Human Resources Assistant to support the director, they may have a Human Resources Manager or team lead or senior personnel within their department to lead a whole team versus just leading them to take that team's direction in one way versus an assistant that's just helping them from day to day. I will say that it's definitely a lower compensation for the Human Resources Assistant role as well as the Human Resources Coordinator role. The salaries are very, very close. And if you want to know the exact numbers, then definitely check out the video, because I did a video all dedicated to the Human Resources Assistant. And then I did another video that's all dedicated to the Human Resources Coordinator. So I will make sure to have those videos links below so that you can definitely watch them. If not, I'll have them on the end of this video, and I'll definitely put them up in this area for you too. Now, two things that's very similar for both the Human Resources Assistant and the Human Resources Coordinator is that neither of them really need a ton, if any, like prior experience. So as long as you can show that, you're anxious, you're available, some of the basics, like you may know some technology as far as like how to send an email, or you're willing to learn those things, then you can start in the Human Resources Assistant role or the Human Resources Coordinator role, because you can definitely learn that job on the job easily. Another thing that's very similar between the Human Resources Assistant and the Human Resources Coordinator is that you really don't need a degree prior to either position. Now, having a degree is helpful, but it's not necessarily a requirement. And if it is, it wouldn't be a bachelor's degree. So don't focus on trying to get a degree before you start that position, because honestly, you can work on that degree while you're working in that position, and that will show that you're very serious about your career and potentially help propel you to the next position. Now, another thing about both the Human Resources Assistant and the Human Resources Coordinator is that for neither role will you need an HR certification. So the HR certification is going to be something you want to get later. Both the Human Resources Assistant position and the Human Resources Coordinator position really opens your mind up to what a Human Resources Department is needed for, what are the day-to-day duties of that particular department, and a lot of the basics. So trying to get a certification may take a lot more studying and preparation to feel like you really can pass either exam. And so I would highly suggest working on that certification after you already got into that position, and perhaps even later. Because again, just like getting that degree, it will show your organization, it will show any new organization that you may apply to that you're serious about your career. But it's not one that you would feel you just don't need a certification before you go and dive into human resources assistant or human resources coordinator role. Let's just be real. Now, if you're like Tamika, I am really trying to get my foot in the door. I really want to either pivot into human resources. I want to start my career in human resources. I want to jump out of school and go straight into human resources. Then these not only would be your positions that you want to go to, but I did an absolute free ebook, and it tells you the best and easiest ways to get into human resources and to start your career, and even to launch off to get multiple job offers, multiple interviews. So if you want to know the top ways to get your career started, then definitely go into the description box below. There is a link where you can grab that ebook, download it absolutely for free, and get that career started, y'all. So for those of you who are new, I hope that you found this so valuable that you decided to subscribe, because listen, I would love to have you in the Hey HR family. So definitely hit that button below and subscribe. For those of you who are returning, I appreciate you for always showing up for your girl. At the end of the day, I cannot wait to see all of y'all on the next video.